Okay, look, so welcome viewers. I've been very lucky to track down one of our adjudicators for the Australian National Online Band Festival, Mr. Howard Taylor. Welcome, Howard.
Hello, Eddie, and great to be here. And look, you've got me while sunning myself in Tonga, so it'll be great to answer a few questions and tell the viewers about my experiences in Tonga.
Oh, fantastic! Because I can see the backdrop. I can see where you are. That's one hell of a backyard you've got there, mate. Right. So, if you don't mind, I would like you to just tell the viewers about some of the amazing work you've done with brass bands in Tonga. So, just tell us, Howard, how were you approached to tackle these ventures first, and why were you approached?
All right. Look, it goes way back. Ricky McDonnell. He had an idea and a dream to set up and introduce an annual music festivals to the schools of the Kingdom of Tonga, incorporating workshops and masterclasses and a brass band contest. Ricky was invited over there. We all know Ricky McDonnell. Unfortunately, we lost Ricky 3 years ago now, and he's sorely missed. But what a legacy he left here. He was invited over to play for the King of Tonga, and the King of Tonga was writing the brass bands. And after talking with fellow Tongan bandsmen in Auckland, he got this idea, and it all started from there. And Rhys McDonnell, his son, has carried it on, and it's history. I guess I was asked back in 2013. I've been friends with Ricky since I moved to New Zealand in 1997. Kevin Mosley was over there for a few years. He's a New Zealand conductor.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't make it one year, and I was asked to judge the secondary schools competition and deliver masterclasses. And it's turned out to be an experience I will never forget. In fact, it's the highlight of my year going to Tonga.
Oh, fantastic. So when you first arrived on the island, what were some of the things that you found so different, say, for banding in England and Australia or New Zealand?
Well, let me try and give the viewers and the listeners a bit of an overall picture of where Tongan brass banding is. Every community, every school, the majority of churches has a brass band.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few orchestras and concert bands in Tonga. It's just brass bands everywhere, and it's like unbelievable when I went there. Bands have never had a contest over in Tonga, and they manage on instruments donated and grants and sponsorship. Many of the students share instruments and mouthpieces.
Wow.
Very few take them home. And it was a real eye-opener for me. It's all sponsored. Our trip is sponsored by the police band and education department. I don't get paid. I don't get paid when I'm over there. But one great thing is I don't have to, they look after me.
Wow, yeah.
When I'm over. And, the money doesn't matter. I just love being over there with these kids. The enthusiasm comes through. I think one major difference, every Tongan that I know over there, they sing. And the harmonies that they bring out, there's just singing everywhere, whether it's in the church or the schools, or even sat around a fire with a young pig that we're just about to barbecue. They're singing. And it's just, it's a musical feast over there when I'm over. It's just great. I think that's the main differences, and really the money side. It's a huge problem.
Okay, fantastic. So I know how that you've been around brass banding since you were a small boy. Can you tell us just about the level of performance of the bands over there? I mean, we have obviously championship section bands in the UK and A-grade bands here in Australia. How would the sort of the top bands over in Tonga compare?
Well, just taking you back to when we first started this off, I think there was 5 bands. They play a hymn, a march, a test piece, which I choose,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have an entertainment section. So I chose D grade or junior band pieces when I first went over.
Yeah.
The next
Any
year,
examples? What were some of the examples of the pieces?
examples were Indian Summer,
Yeah.
Eric Ball, Dark Side of the Moon, Paul Lovett Cooper,
Yeah.
and a lot of, I tried to get entertaining pieces, which they enjoyed. So all 5 bands would play the same one. The final, when did I go last? 2019. There's 10 bands, and now we have 3 grades.
Oh, wow.
So there's a C grade, a B grade, and an A grade.
Yes.
Now, if I told you the A grade band played Paganini Variations
You're kidding, really?
and Journey to the Center of the Earth,
Yeah.
they could match it. I think I was blown away with the performance,
Wow.
to be honest. It was just where they've come. One of the top 2 colleges, Topo College and Tonga College, some of the playing, and they've been over to Brisbane and played with Brisbane Excelsior, and we've had a great time with them.
Yes.
And they're just getting better and better, and I love it.
And is it the standard of teaching that's over there, or how, are they listening to bands, or they're listening to what's going on around the rest of the world?
Look, I think they are listening more, but I go over twice a year. So I pick the pieces in January. I go over in March and have a conductor's workshop. So we go through all the pieces that I've chosen.
Nice.
And we have a week of an intensive, it's great fun. And again, I get the conductors up. We use the police band, who are brilliant with us. They give up their time. And so we have a week of Reese McDonnell comes over and plays as well and gives them a hand.
Right.
And we just go through every test piece. I take over hymns and marches, and the standard. I mean, we have been going. Yeah, I've been going for 6, 7 years now, and they just want to learn so much, and the kids are so enthusiastic. They want to learn, and it's just I get a buzz every time I'm over there.
It sounds like it's really infectious. So obviously,
Oh, it is.
Yeah, you say you've been several times. Can you just tell the audience about some of the funny moments that you've had?
Look, there are funny
There must
moments.
be some.
They are. I mean, they're not called the Friendly Islands for nothing. I mean, we are from the time where we land, we're picked up by the commissioner of the Tongan police force, and they look after us. Now, being picked up and Tonga time, I mean, it's a favorite.
Yeah, island time.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen. We've had contests go on to 1 o'clock in the morning, and there's just 3,000 in the audience, and they just don't want to. I guess the highlights for me are some of the entertainment competitions, and when you're getting fire swallowing, you're getting dancing and singing, something that I've never ever seen before. There was a duet with trombones, which I was looking forward to. Well, they had their the end of their slides tied together, and so they were moving in and out, and it was great. I think one of the funny moments for me and Ricky was we started up a national youth band in Tonga.
Right.
So we did auditions. Everything's outdoors.
Yes.
And halfway through this, they said we were expecting a storm. Well, it was a cyclone. Halfway through there, it was a 3 or 4 cyclone, and it was just, well, it was frightening, but it was a funny story as well. Look, they just do look after you, and you never know what's going to happen now in Tonga. It's a great experience.
Well, you obviously have to wing it a fair bit. So obviously, so with COVID, obviously there's been some fairly major impacts over the last year or so. So what have you got? Anything in the pipeline for the future?
Look, I keep in contact with the Tongan bands and conductors a lot. They send me over videos of them playing and ask them for my feedback, which is just great. As soon as the borders are open, we're going to be back onto it again.
Awesome.
I don't know when that will be, but it's good to have constant emails with the conductors and keeping up to date. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get back there again.
Oh, mate, we can tell by your enthusiasm about the whole project. You can tell that you're really, really enjoying it. Just tell us a little bit about that shirt that you're wearing. It's a very Ireland shirt, Howard.
It is, and this was a present from one of the bandsmen in the police band.
Oh, wow.
And he thought I would look better in a Tongan shirt, and then he gave me one of the skirts as well. And so I use that when I'm conducting in the churches or in the schools, and they're just so friendly people, and I'm not going to turn down a free shirt.
You're a Cornishman, why would you?
That's it.
Okay, fantastic. Look, I've got one more question that I would like to ask you, and this is slightly off topic, but I've asked this quite a few of the people I've been interviewing for the State Band Championships, and this one, the online national festival. So you're now stranded on a desert island, and your backdrop suggests that you are. You've got one DVD or CD player, and you've got one CD. What would that CD be, and why?
Thanks for dropping me in it like this. I guess
that's a very interesting response, I can promise you.
I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to classical and jazz, but as we're talking brass bands, I've got a lot of favorites, and I play a lot with. I guess if I had to choose one, it would be back in the black days of Peter Parks.
Yes.
And the sound to me was just brilliant. And my favorite cornet player of all time, James Shepherd.
Yeah.
He would be. I think that CD, he had a few solos on it. Champions. That would be my CD, just to listen to Black Dyke and the sound.
They were an amazing band at that time. I had the fortune, or sometimes you could call it misfortune, of sitting in front of Roy Newsom's boy, Martin. Martin would have been playing in the 70s on bass trombone. He joined us from the engineers band. And I tell you what, after 7 years sitting in front of him, my goodness, bass trombone, you've never heard anything quite like him. Amazing player. He's certainly parted what little bit of hair I do have. He would have parted that several times. But yeah, an awesome band. So Howard, really, really thank you for giving up some of your time this morning. I'll just tell the audience, we did have a few little hiccups with technology, but we overcame those pretty quickly. So Howard, thanks very much indeed for talking to us about your experience in Tonga. I wish you all the very, very best, and hopefully you get back there in the future, and very soon too.
Thank you very much, Eddie, and thank you for the time. I just want people to know about this Tonga. You know, we've had people fly over for the August, and it's always in August. And if you want a trip, just a few days away, get to Tonga in August, and you will have just the best time. It's a musical feast over there.
If you need a hand out there with anyone, let me know, because I'll be more than happy to come and give you a hand. All right, brilliant. Howard Taylor, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.